All right, welcome back to Larry Live. For those of you that do not know, there is a part one. You've got to watch. Nigga. You gotta watch. Look, you gotta watch part one. You must watch part one. If you're on YouTube, I'm gonna go back and edit the video right now. Got all that section for the last 5 minutes. We were trying to fix and find out what in the world was going on. But we are back and we are ready to go with the rest of the show right now. So go ahead and tell all your family, tell all your friends that we are on. We are back right now, and we have Bishop Earl Carter. He is on the line. Okay, you gotta quit moving this thing now, cause my nerves already tore up because I went through all of this. I don't do nothing. You ain't have to do nothing. I can see what I got to see. Okay, all right, and maybe it's better anyway because we cut the shows into 2 different parts, and that's good. Y'all already done made part number 1 on Facebook go viral, so we got to go ahead and get into this part 2. So let me go ahead and get all my stuff. I got to text folk again and let them know that we are on. Give me just a few minutes. In fact, while I'm doing this little upkeep stuff, I want you to look at this music, stream this music, and get these books. Let's do that. So I can go ahead and let everybody know that we are on. Coming right back with Bishop Earl Carter. Share the link.
What we need is love. Gotta have this love. The world is you. What will you do? A channel of flows through. Heal you through and through. The world is you. And hurt me, it never ends. Speculating about that paper. I feature. Burn them eyes, make that fire move on higher. I feature. Bring fame to the name, make them change it. I feature. While they hate and speculate, anticipating it. I feature. While they hate and speculating about that paper. I feature. Burn them eyes, make that fire move on higher. I feature. Bring fame to the name, make them change it. I feature. While they hate and speculate, anticipating. Everybody dance around loud that you can't stop hard, put your feet on the floor. Ain't nobody fly like you, lift it up, turn around.
Support the growth of your favorite digital show with just a text. Support Larry Reid Live by texting GIVE to 404-800-4530. Text GIVE to 404-800-4530 today. Are you in need of direction? Is there an important decision that you have to make? Or maybe you're curious about the future. If that's you, go right now to yourpersonalprophecy.com for your free prophecy. Don't wait. Visit yourpersonalprophecy.com. Do it today. JKA Associates LLC has 20 years of experience working with individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. They specialize in IRS tax resolutions. If you've received a notice from the IRS regarding your taxes, please call. They can help. 404-736-9177. They provide assistance with filing prior tax returns. IRS penalty abatement can help business owners save on their Schedule C self-employment taxes. They can answer all of your questions. Visit the website at jkaassociates.org. That's jkaassociates.org. Or call 404-736-9177. That's 404-736-9177. Jada K. Abernathy, CEO, JKA Associates LLC. Accounting and Business Advisory, making the financial difference. Call now, 404-736-9177.
All right, we are back. Let all of your friends and loved ones know that we are. What is it? No, I see YouTube. I'm watching this. Okay, but I'm on the YouTube. All right, let all of your friends and your family know that we are back on. We had a little audio technicality. If you've been following us a long time, we haven't had that to happen in. It's been at least 9 months, but every once in a while, we have that to happen, and it's got to do something with, I got to figure that thing out. I got to figure it out, and I'm going to figure it out. But we back, and we rolling right now. All right, so go ahead right now and share with all of your loved ones and let them know that we are on. Okay, I'm going to do that right now. All right. Are y'all ready? Now, in the first part of this tonight's show, I went all the way from the very beginning on the reason why that I'm doing this show. And this is the reason why I'm doing the show on the COGIC Church. Because of all the videos that have went viral this week on my page and on the page of others concerning Bishop Patrick Wooten, also Mother Frances Kelly. And remember that this is also the church that gave us Andrew Caldwell, that moment that went viral round about the world. Everybody know who he is as a result of Bishop Earl Carter. Bring him over. Bishop Earl Carter preaching a message. I showed you in 2 parts the message he preached just 4 years ago that went viral and that brought to us Andrew Caldwell. So this is what we're about to do. We're about to have an interview with Bishop Earl Carter, because as I did in the first video, I sort of showed you guys a pattern throughout the COGIC Church when it came to how they talked about and dealt with homosexuality or the LGBTQ community. And now, since I have been trying to reset things up, I will send another video of this pastor that stopped the whole service, called the guy out into the aisle and said, look, you can't disrespect the church like this. You coming in here just like a little girl in tight clothes. I can't continue to let you do this. I'm sick of this. You're probably going to see other bloggers picking that up or vloggers. They're going to be sharing this. And so that's going to be a conversation there. But we already having the conversation now. So I have a few questions that I want to ask Bishop Earl Carter, and I have him. And
folks say,
Okay, but anyway, let's go. All right, so this is the first question that I have. Do you feel as though, when it comes to the COGIC Church, do you feel as though that the way that the COGIC Church approaches particularly the sin or the homosexual, that is what the COGIC Church believes, the homosexuality is a sin. The Bible says that it's a sin. When it comes to that, is there another way to approach that particular issue as opposed to the way that they have been doing it, like with the calling of the sisters and the fact is, you feel like there's another way that the COGIC Church can do that? Or that you can do it? Because I think you use the same terminology.
Well, I didn't use the word faggot. I used the word sissy, and I used the word homosexual, but not faggot. That's Mother Kelly. She used that term. Now, for years, I've been in this church for 46 years, and there was a spirit of tolerance, all right, when it comes down to homosexuals. That's why they have infested the church to the point where it now is so conspicuous and alarming. And so when we deal with grace is not a license. It is not, let's say, to be non-participatorial when it comes down to bringing correction. And the homosexual community, they're the only ones that have an agenda and a manifesto. All right? And so it's just like, I hate to put it this way, but they multiply like roaches or maggots or whatever. If you don't spray, if you don't do something to stop the proliferation of the growth of the homosexual community, that they have vowed to infiltrate all segment of society, especially the church. So I think
okay, now this is another question. Another question that I have for you. Do you think that statement itself, like infesting or multiply like roaches? I understand you say you hate to use it that way. Do you think that those kind of statements are unkind, or do you think that there's another statement that you can make in order to get your point across as far as what you guys believe, like what Mother Kelly said and like you said? Do you find it unkind?
The whole thing is that my preaching style has always been scandalizo. And that word scandalizo in the Greek means to offend. And when you talk about rebuking, and when you talk about dealing with something that seems to be stubborn and seems to want to have an overwhelming, let's say, control, then you have to become militant like Jesus. Jesus went to the temple and he called them vipers and snakes and hypocrites. And then he turned over tables. So that is my spirit. That is my spirit, to be scandalizo. I come to offend. And, there is a word that most people probably have never heard of. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good. Well, there's a word. The word is imprecatory. Imprecatory.
Yeah.
Now that word means to, all right. It called down divine judgment on the enemies of Israel as well as God. Now, my approach when I said about the bleeding out the butt, that was a scandalizo, imprecatory statement. And I think it was God anthropomorphically, that is attributing to God human attributes, even to speak, like Jesus was the anthropomorphism of God in the flesh expressing his will. So when a man is preaching and he's taken over by God, and some of the things he might say may not sound good, and I've been saying this for years. See, God was so bad in the Old Testament until Jesus had to come in the New Testament to give him a better reputation. So a lot of people, they paint God with a brush that he's just loving and that he has a right hand, which is the mercy of God. Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father, all right, mercy. Then the left hand is his judgment, and that thumos, that is judgment, all right? So we don't want to serve a God that's just one hand. He's a God with two hands. So when I spoke in that imprecatory language, and that to offend, and that is scandalizo, offend, then, that's the way it is.
So the answer to the question, because my question was really, is there another way that you can do it? Do you find it unkind? So really your answer is, for me, for you, Bishop Earl Carter, there is no other way to do it, because that's the way that God has given it to you. Your ministry is to offend and to use words that others may find unkind or offensive. You are really trying to offend the repetitive sinner, the person that sins over and over and over in the same area. Correct?
There you go. That's right. Now, here's another thing about what I said, and I'm going to teach Wooden about imprecatory, because he said, well, anatomically, he could have, not to refer to a woman's body. But if you read Leviticus 15:9-23, talks about a woman that she's unclean during her menstrual period. Then it says Israel is like a woman on her menstrual period.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember reading that.
Tonight. Are you listening?
Right, but I got you. So, since we're talking about Wooden, what did you think of the message that he preached? I posted it on my page. He referred to, and this is alleged. I need to switch that. This is alleged. He referred to William McCrae. It's allegedly that he referred to William McCrae concerning, his hair and his nails and things of that nature. What did you think of the message that he preached?
I think his message was, almost like mine. It was scathing. It was descriptive. And when he referred to William McCrae, and everybody knew who he was talking about, because this man, you talking about profligate and brazen. He has no shame at all. And he's a reprobate. So he's allowed to prance, and I preached the message about the wicked struts. And the wicked struts when the vilest of men are promoted. And leadership, see what Wooden was doing, he was addressing the fact that these people in the pulpit, especially Charles Blake, I call him Charletta Edwina, for him to not address this issue. Now they can put me out the church without due process. All right, they should have given me due process. That's another story.
Okay, hold on. I got to slow you down. I'm gonna let you get back to what you're saying, but you're jumping some things I want to earmark. Okay, you said number one that you thought that Bishop Patrick Wooden's message was pretty good. It was like yours. But then you said you called Charles E. Blake Charletta Edwina, and that's a feminine spin you put on his name. Why do you say that? Are you alluding to the fact that Bishop Charles E. Blake is a homosexual, or is it because he talks with his voice like this, or what is it?
Well, I have evidence. I have people who have testified. Like Thomas Cross said that Professor Gomes, he was a professor at Harvard University, and how he said that he had Blake, that he had sex with him. And this guy is known for homosexuality. He supports the homosexual agenda. He wrote a Bible about homosexuality. Charles Blake, he went to talk to the student body, invited by Gomes, and went to Gomes' house and what have you. And so one day, all the ministers, after a conference, they got together, went to a restaurant. Thomas Cross is in the midst of these ministers. He has names of the people that were at the table eating. And they was talking about homosexuality, and somebody said, well, homosexuals are everywhere and so forth. I don't know why Cross said, well, we don't have any homosexuals. And I think Gomes got, upset about that. He took issue with that. He said, well, I know you got one. So who is that? He said, Charles Blake. How do you know that? Because I had him.
Okay, now hold on a minute. Okay, now this is the thing. When it comes to information like that, this is just me. Everybody's not the same. I sort of feel like you feel. I've heard you say, I went on some of your videos, I've done a crash course in Earl Carter. I heard you say a lot of things, and I want to ask you questions about it, even as to what you say concerning Matthew Stevens and things of that nature. So when you say I just meant whenever you say that, okay, I have proof because this person said that they. For me, To me, that's conjecture because it's what somebody says there has to be. And I don't even accept I don't even. Let me finish what I'm saying. I don't even accept the conjecture around it unless I have a text message, a picture, or email, or something that says, okay, now
you just heard one part of it. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, one thing about I was born at night, but it wasn't last night because you have what you call possibility of defamation of character. And he did take me to court and found out that all my witnesses, all right, they were ready to testify. All right.
Wait a minute. There was a court case?
Yeah, but him and his lawyers, they convoluted, and you know how they do, act like, the case is closed, race judicata, when I never been to trial, lied and said that, I lost the case, but never spent a dime. And only thing they were trying to do is get the videos down. But I had written testimonies, affidavit, testimonies, certified, waiting to go to court. All right? Now, you don't just jump on the presiding bishop of the Church of God in Christ who has millions of dollars, Magic Johnson, Denzel Washington, all these people supports him. And when you come up against this kind of guy, you coming up against a David coming up against a Goliath. So I had all my ducks in a row, and I was ready to go to court. Now, if somebody was to say the things that I said about this man, oh yes, he's going to court, and I'm going to sue him for defamation of character. I'm going to take everything he got. But because I know I'm telling the truth, he had to back up. He thought I was going to stop. But as the old folks say, I've gotten worse.
Okay, let me interject right here. So is that the reason why? Because this is what I was told. First, answer me this question: are you still a part of the Church of God in Christ, or have you been banned or kicked out?
Well, first of all, I'm glad I was kicked out. And they put me out because they didn't want me to come to the General Assembly because they were supposed to give me due process. I mean, even if I was a heretic, you're supposed to give me at least 2 warnings. And if I don't repent, then you excommunicate me. They never gave me the due process because he was afraid that I was going to expose him with all the information that I have. All right. I mean, let me throw this in. Yeah, let me put this in there so I can set this up. Larry Shaw, one of these bishops, as a matter of fact, he was the secretary of the board of bishops. When we first started this debacle and this war, Larry Shaw called me and said, Dr. Carter, I know you're telling the truth about this man because Braxton told him that David Wright told him, that is Braxton, that a 14-year-old boy and his grandmother had to move from L.A. because the boy was molested by Charles Blake. All right? So you had to see, if we go to court, I would have to subpoena Larry Shaw, Braxton, and David Wright. Matter of fact, David Wright, he's a medical doctor. He wrote us a letter telling us to please forgive and let it go. Forgive what? All right?
Okay.
So now,
hold on. I got to pause because I got a few questions in between there. Okay, now. So the reason why that you were kicked out of the COGIC Church was not because this one didn't make no sense to me. Because when I went and looked at your video, the language that you used concerning homosexuality and it was the same as it was with Kelly, the same it was with Wooten and a few other COGIC folks. So I said, well, why are they coming after him? Because it seemed like to me that this guy, he was really like a clean-up man that night. When it came to what the COGIC Church preached and believed, you killed it. I mean, it was a smash message. I mean, granted, I think some parts of it, some of the things you used to describe homosexuality, I think was rude. It was insensitive. I don't agree with that. I think there's another way to say the same thing.
Well,
a different way.
You what.
But hold on a minute.
Rage spray to a roach is offensive. It's rude.
I get, but I'm not a roach and I'm not a part of the LGBT community. But I do have family members and all things of that nature. But that ain't got nothing to do with what I'm saying. I just think there's a better way. I just feel like there's a better way to tell somebody off. But your preaching that night, in my opinion, you smashed it. It was a straight up kill. It was very full of passion. And then there was a part of your message I played on the first part. Make sure you watch the first part. The first part I played the part when you went to the preachers. You said he was like the candy man. You know, that it was all about the money. It was all about the tithe. It was all about, you know, the members. You got the Walmart. You said you're using a Walmart system. I 100% agree with a lot of that you said. And I don't even think that the way that you said what you said to the preachers, you know, about them not doing their job that proper, I don't even think you were rude. I think it was a great way to explain what you said, but I just felt like that the other part, it's just my feeling, that I think it was just rude and insensitive. But that's just my point of view. But it was a great message, because that when you in the church, in the Christian church, they believe what they believe. You done a proper job. So it made no sense to me when somebody told me you were kicked out of culture. I said, why? When he preaching the same, all Mother Kelly and them and Wooten trying to preach what he preached 4 years ago. You know, so I couldn't understand that. So it sounds like you're telling me that the reason why you were kicked out, blackballed, not given due process is because of this whole thing about questioning the Bishop Charles E. Blake sexuality.
Right. Now you got it, because he did not want to give me due process because it would have indicted him, and I had too much information on him, you know, and so they had the police to escort me from the convention center, said that I came to assassinate the bishop.
Well, this is what got very interesting to me. This is how I really got into your thing, because what happened to me last week, which I didn't share in part one, what happened to me, I'm here in Atlanta, had no thoughts of going to the COGIC convocation. I hadn't been to anything COGIC as far as during the whole shebang since the 90s. So I was told by someone that was on their national security task force. I didn't know that existed, you know, but when I started talking about it live, all these coach people started telling me, yeah, that's a real for real thing. And they told me, you can verify for me, this is all alleged information. They said allegedly that my picture was texted around to everybody on the task force and said, if you see him, escort him off the property. And that made no sense to me, because I hadn't done, in my opinion, I hadn't said anything that was rough enough to ruffle anybody's feathers. But then I did remember that I said on the show that I was going to do a story on Daryl Hines, and I was told that he was a part of the board. And so they said that that's probably the reason why, because they don't want me anywhere around people. Now all of that's alleged. The person, I can't share the person's name who said that, because they're not even returning phone calls right now, because they don't want it to get, I think they're actually on thin ice for warning me and telling me about that. But that's what really made me look into you, because they said that you were banned as well through the same task force. Now, this is the question that I have as it relates to that. Do you feel as though that the banning, this is something you've been in for so many years, do you feel, is there any part of you that is hurt or sad because you're banned from something that you've been a part of and helped build for many years?
You know what, David said it was good that I was afflicted, because if I was not afflicted, I would have gone astray. Matter of fact, I believe this was a setup from God for all of this foolishness to come out. Because if I had not said what I said, of course, Andrew Caldwell, you know, he said that when he heard, when I heard that I was going to beat out my butt, I said, I got to go to this altar. So if nobody else benefited from the message, I'm sure Caldwell, and plus the message went viral, and you know, over 7 million people heard the message, and you know, it's all over. So what I'm saying is that God wants this stuff to be exposed because we've been hiding this stuff for so long. And like I said, maggots, they destroy the iconoclastic, they destroy the image. They are the kind of worms that eats away the body to the bones, all right? Iconoclastic, destroying the image. And then carnivorous worms. And the image of the church now has been destroyed. And guess who is the poster child and who is the face of COGIC now? William McCrae. Now, he really is the unofficial international mother of the Church of God in Christ, all right? Androgynous rainbow-colored hats and extended hairstyle and all of that, the long fingernails. That's what Wooden was talking about. He was talking, and then Mother Kelly, you know, she has her own way of saying it. She called them. She said, I'm sick of sissies. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of, no, not sissies, but faggots. See, I didn't say that. She said it, you know. But I don't care how you put it. You know, this stuff got to stop. And as far as me feeling bad and hurt about being, you know, you love the church. And I've had a relationship with preachers all over the country that I preached for, Wooden and all of them, but they threw me away because they're a bunch of cowards. They are sissies too because they're weak.
Wait a minute. Okay, now hold on.
They're sissies too.
Okay, now when it comes to Daryl Hines, why is that? So you said, a few minutes ago. What is the story surrounding? I haven't had time to get into that.
Well,
that's another thing that I saw you really strong on your channel.
Yeah. Well, Daryl Hines, he is let's say he's a homemonger. He's slick. And he need to, you know, his testimony is that he was on his way he dropped his wife off to the airport. He's on his way to go have a rendezvous with a woman, you know, to commit adultery, but the lightning hit him. And he need another strike of lightning. All right? How are you gonna say that you don't know this woman and Gaylord is upset because Gaylord has had 3 babies by this woman? That's his woman. And so now,
so who is Gaylord? Gaylord is another pastor?
Gaylord is terrible. Gaylord, now they're not sissies. These are homemongers. So I preach against everybody. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe.
I must say, when we played your video in the first part of the show before everything started cutting up, that is true. That's what I was noticing. You don't just come after the homosexuals. You come as like you were the cleanup man. You come after everybody.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
Now, so a guy named Gaylord was sleeping with a woman, and she had 3 children by, and then Daryl Hines turned her into his own.
Yeah, what happened is that he trying to act. Listen, we got evidence of the picture and text messages that he sent to this woman. All right, the picture of his penis. All right, this man is crazy. He's stupid.
Hold on, Daryl Hines' peen. You got pictures of Daryl Hines' peen?
We got it. I just got it. It was reported to me today. When I tell you these niggas are something else, these church niggas are something else. I'm sick of them.
So you call them maggots and faggots. So it's the gay people.
Well, I
just
call them maggots. I just call them maggots. I'm talking anything that destroys the image of the church is iconoclastic maggots. All right, destroying the image. So what I'm saying,
Let me take a pause and let me speak to the audience. You're going to hear me, but I'm talking to the audience because my audio is messed up right now and I can't turn it on. So I'm talking to those that are viewing. If you're just tuning into the show, we are in an interview with Bishop Earl Carter. This is the man that is responsible for the reason why that we know Andrew Caldwell. He preached that particular night, and he preached so hard and so convicting that Andrew Caldwell wanted to be delivered some more from what he had going on. In fact, let's show you that footage right now where you can see where Andrew Caldwell, after he finished preaching, this is what happened after he finished preaching with Andrew Caldwell.
Turn around and tell those people,
Tell them, I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. Tell them, I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. Now, listen to it.
All right, so as you just seen, that was the whole, it was because of this man, Bishop Earl Carter. The reason why he got up there and said, I want to be delivered some more. Now, this is what I want to say to all of you that are watching me. Bishop Earl Carter, I know we think prior to this show that the only thing that he was, now this is me using these words, Bishop Carter, so don't get offended, but this is what I think. These rude, demeaning, just harmful to some, disrespectful words. He's not the only one that do that. It's Mother Kelly and it's the rest of the coach, because this is the COGIC way on how to clean up the COGIC Church of the, according to what Bishop Earl Carter said, the infestation of gays. It is now the Church of God, Church of gays in Christ, as opposed to the Church of God in Christ. You know, so this is their tactic on how to clean it up by saying these harmful, rude, and derogatory words. I happen to think that they can clean it up if they will use a different tactic. They can clean it up. That's what I think. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. This is what I think right now. I got him on the phone. Bishop Earl Carter is on the phone. So we're going to have a few more questions that I have for him. Now, this is one thing, another thing that I wanted to know, because I got some general COGIC church questions, because I don't know anything about COGIC. There's a particular song, and it's a statement that says you cannot join in, you have to be born in. What does that mean?
Well, they're trying to say that you need to be converted, saved, and sanctified, instead of just coming in without the experience of salvation. And that song does not apply, because we got everything coming into the church without the process of being born again. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
now I got
yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense to me. I understand what it means. Now, I watched your video. You said that your vice and your issue wasn't homosexuality. It wasn't running all these women like the other preachers is doing, and a few other vices you called out. You said your vice was anger and violence. That was your vice. What did you say to people who have turned a dead ear to you because they feel that you're a bitter old man and you're just mean and although you may be saying sometimes some stuff that needed to be said or that we agree with, but overall you just seem to be bitter. What would people say? What do you say to people who say that?
Well, you know, they would say the same thing about Jesus, that he went to the temple with a militancy, and I'm militant. I've always said I'm from the streets. And the Lord knew that the kind of street life that I had, I'm in your face. And I didn't get into the church to see this hypocrisy. And like, you know, the Bible said be angry, but sin not. I haven't shot anybody, you know, I haven't cut nobody's throat. So I just used the word of God. So you can be, the spirit of anger came upon Saul. And then, of course, David, God used him to cut, you know, Goliath's head off. And Elijah, see, the spirit of Elijah is a spirit that does not tolerate any kind of unrighteousness. So I come in the spirit of Elijah. I come to trouble Israel. And the Bible says, cry loud and spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet. Trumpet wakes people up. And that means that I'm mean and that I'm angry old man. I live good out of the church. And now
Mm-hmm.
the Lord has given me my own organization, and we're growing. People love what I'm saying, and they love what I'm doing. So our organization is
Mm-hmm.
growing, and I thank God for that. I'm glad that I'm a free bird in the woods than to be a fat bird in the cage. Yeah.
Okay, now,
yeah.
so your answer to the what I would call rude and mean statements. You would say Jesus was rude. People would say that Jesus was rude and mean. People would say that Elijah, his approach was rude and mean. You know, there's so many instances in the Bible where it seems as though even God himself may have been seen or as rude or mean. So I get that. That's your answer.
Yeah.
I don't have on this show. We talk about everything, and everybody's opinion is okay, and we ain't gonna make nobody feel like, oh, well, that's just what you're saying. Oh, you stupid. That ain't gonna happen.
I got you.
That's what you feel.
What you call
okay, now
it is my ethos. It's my conviction and my absolute. Yeah. Once you establish that, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one more thing. A few more things. I do have a few more things I want to know. Now, as relates to Bishop Charles E. Blake. Okay, you said he was homosexual and a molester, is what it sounds like. So pedophile, all of this is in there. You got evidence, allegedly, of all of these things that have been said and done. Now, in your opinion, who on the board? And okay, Darrell Hines. You also told us about Darrell Hines. That Darrell Hines got, this other man's 3-time over again hoe. Now it's his hoe, and he's supposed to be married, and he got a hoe. So he should side hole, all this kind of stuff going on. Okay, I hear that. So he's also on the board. Now, who else on the board you feel, or is there anybody on the board that you think that the Church of God in Christ could win with? Is there anybody on that board? And I got a nomination, because I found out who was on the board today. But is there anybody on the board that you feel like can be for real presiding prelate for the Church of Gays in Christ? What you think?
Well, right now, I don't want to be capricious or speak before I get the information about all of them, because sometimes you speak well about somebody, then next thing you know, some news come out about him. So I'm going to reserve that for later on. But I can tell you who I don't want, and that is like Jerry Macklin, who have 3 babies out of wedlock, and his wife is a lesbian, because he told me. It wasn't reported to me. He said his wife left him 2 times for a woman. So you don't want to trust that, because it might be a 3rd time. And, of course, Brooks is a crook, and he threw his little girlfriend down the stairs.
Wait a minute.
And he just
you're talking too fast. I can't take it. I just learned who the board was today, and you got what the world? What? I don't.
Yeah, that's why.
I take issue, and we know that all this information is alleged, but I really have an issue with a black mind that don't claim that they're children. Now, I take an issue to that, and you're supposed to be a pastor, and you're supposed to be a leader. That's a problem for me. So you mean tell me that who this Bishop Macklin got this going on and ain't taking care of no children? He just got 3 children.
Well, he got about somebody told me it was 4 babies out of wedlock. In other words, he has children for his wife, but he told me years ago, all right, that his wife left him 2 times for a woman. The reason why I'm bringing this out, because I don't want to see Bishop Charles Harrison Mason's ministry to be defiled and to be corrupted by these recidivistic homosexual lesbians that's taken over the church. And that's part of the gay, lesbian, or let's say the gay agenda, is to take over every segment of society. We got to stop. We got to stop it. We got to root it out. And that's why I expose these people.
I have a nomination. I have a nomination for the Church of God in Christ. And I hope you guys don't get offended. Those of you that are coaches, I say Church of Gays in Christ, or any joke that I do here, this is entertainment. So it's an entertainment talk show. I ain't never said it was nothing else. This is an entertainment talk show, so we're going to entertain, we're going to laugh, have a good time, but we're going to discuss real issues. I have a nomination. My nomination is Bishop Sheard, and let me tell you why. The reason why the Bishop Sheard is my nomination ain't got nothing to do with the process, because y'all know I like they singing and they writing and the music. That ain't got nothing to do with it. It ain't got nothing to do with me being a gospel artist or nominated. I'm just trying to be in good with people, because y'all should know by watching this show, I don't give a fuck what folk feel about what I got going on and what I be saying. So my nomination is Bishop Andrew Sheard. And the reason why is because I watched that show on BET. I watched how he deal with
you talking about Drew Sheard?
Yeah, Karen husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
well, he's a good man.
He seemed like a stand-up man.
Yeah, well, he's a good man. I don't have anything against him. As a matter of fact, I don't know nothing about him except he's a good man. He loves God, loves his family, and no scandals that I know of,
Well, let me say this. Now, I'm going to ask you this, Bishop Carter, because I say this on the show. If a man messes up, whether that means he sleep with his secretary or sleep with his musician that's a boy, or if he have a baby on his wife, this is my thing. Having a baby on your wife, okay, I know that's bad. It's adultery. It's bad. But my question is, are you taking care of that baby? Do your wife know? And are you hiding that child? That's what Larry have issues.
I got you.
When it comes to you sleeping with the little boy, okay, have you told your wife that you like men, and is she okay with you getting you a little peen on the side every now and then? Is that something y'all arrangement y'all got? But what's going on? I mean, did you sleep with them boy, and now you ain't divorcing your wife no more, and so you sleep with boys because you don't like women no more? I want to know what all of that surrounding that. If you ain't handling that right, I got a problem with you. Okay, then if you gonna sleep with your secretary now, your secretary man, so both of y'all in adultery, y'all fell in love with each other, y'all just screwing on the side. Why y'all lying to y'all spouses? Why don't you just break up and be together? That's how I be looking at stuff. I look at it from the way that I would in the church as a pastor, because I pastored for 20 years and was bishop over churches. So I understand what we preach, what we believe, what we say. But I also have a master's degree in counseling. I've been counseling people for several years that ain't in the church. So I totally understand both sides. So let me ask you this. When a man sins, I want to know what you think. If a man sins, like right now, in fact, let me say this. Because somebody was telling me that you was in sin. They told me, and this is what they said. They said that you got arrested. And I found the mugshot online of you. So talk to me about that, because you are the prophet. You're the one that God is using, just like me. And we can fall, we can mess up. So how you feel about a man that messes up? I want to hear you talk about that and talk about yourself.
Well, when I think that when Paul said, I must keep my body under subjection, lest after I preach to others, I myself will become a castaway. All right, that means disqualified to compete in that office. So that means fired. And some people are fired and still on the job. Now, when it comes down to me going to jail, I just put it this way. I got children, all right? Mm-hmm. And nobody controls my house.
Mm-hmm.
But me.
Okay.
I put it this way. I don't want to hurt my children, but they know, and people who know me, they know I do not play, Mm-hmm. And I have been to jail, yeah, but I didn't stay
mm-hmm.
long because the process was, not guilty. I don't have any charges. I'm not a felon.
Oh, okay.
But everybody.
Oh, well, that's different.
No, I'm not a felon.
That means everything. If the law says you ain't guilty, then you ain't guilty.
There you go. And it's race judicata, and my children and I, we love each other. But kids will try you, but they got the wrong one.
What was the charge?
Well, when you talk about spanking your child, and then putting them in
so
check.
If you didn't get a charge, then I know what it is. So if you didn't get a charge, then it won't nothing to it. You ain't do nothing wrong.
Nothing to it. Nothing to it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, what about somebody? Well, what about somebody that messed up though? Okay, let's suppose, like you said, no scandal on Bishop Sheard. We love Bishop. Is it John Drew Sheard? No, John Drew Sheard is the daddy.
No, he's Al Capone. He's Al Capone.
Now, what's Bishop Sheard Karen's husband's name? What's his name?
Oh, you're talking about Drew Sheard. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was Drew Sheard. Yeah.
Yeah, but the father is John.
The father is John Sheard. That's what I thought.
Yeah. He just
the
takes
Bishop
all
Sheard
the business
Karen
money.
is Drew, and the surname is named after him, Drew. But John is his daddy.
Yeah, John is the daddy.
DW can be wrong too. That's all right. We wrong sometimes. This man know what he's talking about. He older than weight twice DW age. So John Sheard is the daddy, and Drew Sheard is Karen's husband, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's
All right.
right.
Okay. So let's suppose, if he mess up, if he mess up, how do you handle? Because it sort of make me feel like that I have to be perfect, that I can't mess up. The way that you preach and the way that you just anybody doing anything wrong is like there ain't no grace for nothing. So what do you say to a preacher that's fallen or messed up?
Well, what I believe that when you are a recidivist, somebody who's habitually, doing the same thing, and as a matter of fact, what happens is that all of the disciples that got saved and was following Jesus, you cannot find one that were involved in a scandal of immorality, adultery, fornication, greed, or none of that. All right? So now, if any man be in Christ, he's a new creature. That metamorphosis or that anakinosis, regeneration, all right, change. And see, what happens is this, that when sinners when they see that you in the pulpit and you can't live it, and if somebody get into the church and they see Rev mess up, it's what you call reversion. They're going to revert, just like Jeroboam, when the man of God preached to him out of his idolatry, and when the man of God was in disobedience, and when he did not leave town when he's supposed to listen to a apostate old prophet, all right, telling him, come on, the angel of the Lord said, you come to my house. All right, the lion was waiting for him when he left, destruction, all right, punishment. And then when Jeroboam heard of the failure of the man of God, he reverted back to his idolatrous ways. So you don't sin and not affect somebody. And we got to get away from this grace as a license. According to Titus 2:11, say grace is a trainer, training us into righteousness. And I'm tired of these recidivistic, weak, struggling. Oh, I'm struggling. We're supposed to be an example, a prism of strength and victory. You know? So we got to stop at some point. We need a reformation. That's right, a reformational move.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
We on the same page with that, because I've been screaming for I don't know how long that the church needs reform. I agree with that.
That's right.
The church needs an apostolic and prophetic reformation. Okay, I got another question. I'm gonna let you go. I think. Let me make sure I had another question wrote down. This Matthew Stevenson thing. Now, he has made my show a few times because he has a pattern of, let me say what I have said, but then let me say what I'm going to say in light of what you said. What I have said is that I have just seen where Matthew Stevenson, I'm saying Matthew Stevenson. Okay, where I've seen Matthew Stevenson make statements over the pulpit telling people that they're too fat, or he do some kind of rant, or do something online, a post on IG or something, calling somebody a name, or say the Lord anointed him to tell somebody the business, he'll prophesy to them, and it'd be just really negative or something of that nature. And it always ends up going viral. Well, it has at least 4 times. And so he made my show several times because of his content going viral from something that he said or did or posted online. Now, I have never made any question about his sexuality. I might have, said something about him ranting like a girl and play with that, and the entertainment show it is what it is. But I've never made any kind of question over his sexuality. In fact, when those pictures came up, with him embracing men or laying on men and things of that nature, I always said, I don't think it's fair to question somebody's sexuality in 2018 because they hooked up with the same sex. Because a lot of people nowadays, men, they show love different ways. Granted, I do understand that some straight men don't want you hugging on them, and I get that. But I'm just saying, I won't gonna jump down on this guy's sexuality just over a picture, or something that he wore, or the way that he wore his hair, or anything like that. But when I watched your video, I mean, you killed him. So, and you even called him Mathaline. So, talk to me about that. What is all of that about?
Well, what it is, the Bible says, don't let your good be evil spoken of. A man's supposed to be masculine, all right? He's not supposed to be effeminate. And the church is being effeminized by people that's salient like he is, very, very upfront in leadership and what have you. Very important. He is the pilot that's flying the plane, or he is the bus driver, or whatever. And so you cannot let your good, even if it's good. Paul said, don't let it be evil spoken of. So you got to watch. Like myself, I watch where I am, who I'm with. That's why I keep my wife with me. I'm not looking at I'm Ray Charles when I go out in the street. I don't want nobody to misconstrue my action, and don't let your good be evil spoken of. That's it. And this brother, he's strange because he's not part of the, let's say, tradition of, when I say tradition, that is that which is acceptable and identifiable with the sanctified life. The tattoos and, I call it Scabala doo-doo hairstyle, tight pants, androgynous dressing. Him and his wife can wear the same outfit. They save money. He can wear it one Sunday, and she can wear it the next Sunday. What a deal. So what I'm saying is that in the day of ambiguity, when people are confused, we need to be a light, and a light is conspicuous. And you don't let your good be evil spoken of. You have to be circumspect. You have to really be vigilant. You cannot be careless because you're going to affect somebody's life. And leadership, my people are destroyed, Isaiah 9, because of my leaders. And you show me the kind of church that a person is pastoring, and I'll tell you what kind of person he is. If you show me a whole lot of effeminate men, all right, and that's the candy man that draws the ants and draws the roaches and what have you. You show me what kind of church that person is pastoring, and I'll tell you what kind of person he is.
But does that mean that pastor is still in that? I mean, in their lifestyle, or does it mean that they came from that lifestyle? Because I think him and his wife said that they came from that lifestyle, but they're not in it anymore.
Oh, well, you see, if he can say that he came from that lifestyle, then you ought to have signs of, see, your dress is a silent witness. Your dress, the way you dress determines your mood, your intention, and your direction. So if you're dressing like the world, acting like the world, if you love the world, then the love of the Father is not in you. And you got a lot of scandals in the church because there is no real separation. There's no sanctification. There's a merging instead of a sanctification. So this guy, I'm on him because listen, that guy he can talk, but jackass can talk too. You have parrots from Africa; they can mimic anybody. All right? But the point I'm trying to make is that we are not to live unto ourselves and be live an epistle. What letter are you sending? What are they reading? All right? Like I said, your dress, the way you dress, is a silent witness. And I might say, shut up and keep on talking.
Okay. Well, I would have to agree with you. I do believe that what you wear, it definitely speaks. It speaks sometimes as just as loud as your energy. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show and answering some of these questions, because I had this question, and people that have known you for a long time, they may have a whole lot more questions than I did, but because I got banned and somebody was telling me what you were saying about whooping, and I began to go through your videos, you were very interesting to me. Now, one thing I will say, because I've voiced over and over about what I thought of, my opinion about how you do what you do, I want to say this at the end. I respect 100% what you are doing, and let me tell you why. Because in this interview, what I realize is you're convicted by it, and you feel as though strongly it's what you're supposed to be doing. And I respect anybody. I don't care what it is. Now, have you been killing folks, stabbing folks? I might say something different, and I do know that what you say and the name calling that you do in the pulpit could harm somebody. I do believe it does harm some people, but I feel like your intention is pure. I feel like your intent is to help. I feel like your intent is to make things better, particularly the church. I think your intent is to create a world and create an example that you feel as though will be acceptable in God's sight and is a biblical example of what the church should be. So hats off to you, and I celebrate you and what you are doing. I don't have to agree with your approach, but I have to say that I respect it because I think that you're doing it for the right purpose. I think your intention is right. That's what I think.
Yes.
So
thank you.
I want to say that.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, just put it in the context of Scandalizo. All right, and
oh yeah.
All right.
I got you. All right. Thank you so much for calling.
All right. All right. Thank you, Larry. God bless you.
No problem. He did. All right. Now, you guys, I'm going to have to talk to you like this because I don't know what in the world is going on with my audio. But as long as I talk to you guys like this is working, ain't this strange? That it was working before it turned on. I know, but I don't know what was up. And I'm scared to try it again. Let me try one more again. Put it right in here. And put in this second one and see what happens. Let's see what happens. Are you ready?
Is it working? Can y'all hear me? Is it working? Is it working? Is it working? Or is there a problem still? There a problem? Can you tell? Oh, y'all got to catch up because y'all behind. Y'all let me know. Because I done put this thing in here and I don't know if it's working. Is it working? Is it working? Is it working? Is it working? Well, anyway, let's go to a commercial break while we just find out whether or not this thing is working. If not, I got the phone and I'm ready to take your darn phone calls. You got 1 minute, and I want to take a whole lot of y'all, but you got 1 minute. You got to move quick, all right?
JKA Associates LLC has 20 years of experience working with individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. They specialize in IRS tax resolutions. If you've received a notice from the IRS regarding your taxes, please call. They can help. 404-736-9177. They provide assistance with filing prior tax returns. IRS penalty abatement can help business owners save on their Schedule C self-employment taxes. They can answer all of your questions. Visit the website at jkaassociates.org. That's jkaassociates.org. Or call 404-736-9177. That's 404-736-9177. Jada K. Abernathy, CEO, JKA Associates LLC. Accounting and Business Advisory, making the financial difference. Call now, 404-736-9177. Are Are you in need of direction? Is there an important decision that you have to make? Or maybe you're curious about the future. If that's you, go right now to yourpersonalprophecy.com for your free prophecy. Don't wait. Visit yourpersonalprophecy.com. Do it today.
All right, I think we're back. You guys let me know, are we working or we not working? Is it clear or is it not clear? I'm going to go ahead and move ahead on with the show. It's time for me now to take your phone calls. I want to know what you guys think about this interview, what you guys thought about the videos that I shared with you. I shared with you 3 videos in part 1 of tonight's show. I think I just figured out what was wrong because I plugged it up in a different channel. So I'm thinking that channel number 1 is gone. It's towed down. So I probably need to buy a whole new board. With that being said, I need about $1,500. So I need 15 of you to give $100 to donate. Donate $100. Just 15 of you, and there are almost 2,000 of you guys watching. So if y'all go do that, I'll go right on over there to the store and get a whole brand new board. I need another, and this is a Behringer, and this got a whole bunch of channels. And I don't want to have to go through this no more. I got a whole lot of big shows coming up. That thing wore me to death tonight. Didn't it wear you? It didn't wear me that much, because this has happened before, so I ain't really get that concerned. But I see y'all in there, so I'm going to go ahead on, and I'm going to take your phone calls. Let's go. Caller in 3694. What's your name? Where you calling from? Turn it up, son.
This is Reginald from Duval. Can you hear me?
I shouldn't be echoing. I should be echoing. You didn't have to mute it. I was. Then don't listen, nigga. All right, turn that up so I can hear. Oh, did you say Duval? What's up? Your name is who?
Reginald from Duval.
Okay, talk to me, Reginald. What you think?
I think the messages were to the church and not to the world. The world cannot dictate and mandate how the church operates. The gospel was given to men, so you have a pure message, but the vessel is an earthen vessel. So it's no perfect men that's handling the word, but the word that they're preaching is pure. Okay, any man that's really standing and preaching the gospel, he's going to get persecuted. He's going to be hated. When John the Baptist told the king or no king, it's wrong for you to have this woman, he got thrown in jail and eventually got his head cut off. Jeremiah, he had a message where he stayed in jail, and they dug a hole and put him under the jail. That's where that comes from. But the only thing that the LGBTQ is going to satisfy them is full acceptance. And I think that church attendance is voluntary, so there are a lot of gay-affirming churches all over the country that you can find where you can go and worship, but don't try to mandate what the mainline church gets to say, because there's no way to make it palatable, Mr. Larry. I heard you ask him, how can you say it in a nicer way? How can we just keep pandering to not just that sin, but all sin? There's no other thing they're going to accept but full acceptance of that community.
Well, this is what I'm gonna let you finish your statement, but I'm gonna say this just so you can be clear on what I was saying. I see some other COGIC churches. If you're watching and you know a COGIC preacher that preaches what the Bible say, even when it comes to homosexuality, but doesn't choose to say faggot, sissy, bull dagger, and all these other derogatory words, tag their name up on the Facebook so that other COGIC people who may, be struggling. I'm trying to use the terms that will be used in the Christian church, who may be struggling with homosexuality. I think there may be homosexuals that may be in the church who don't mind, who clearly feel like, okay, I know this is sin and I need to get this right, but I like the word and you can preach on it. I don't care. Just don't be calling me none of the names that they call me on the playground, beat me up with. That's just what I think. I went to
an equal rights. They had an equal rights symposium in Jacksonville about 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And they went down all the names in that community and what's offensive and what's not. It's no way to even keep up with it.
It ain't that many. It ain't that many. Look,
you can't say that.
No.
You can't say this.
It ain't that many when it comes to homosexuals. It ain't that many when it comes to black folk. It's
you can't say tranny. Tranny is offensive. Now, I didn't know that.
No, hold on for a minute. I get what you're saying, but it ain't that many. It probably about 10 of them, maybe 5 of them for homosexuals, for women, and for black people. I mean, it just, to me, we would get offended. This is just me thinking. This is my thinking. No, ain't nobody got to agree with me.
Okay.
But I think that you would get offended if a white man in the pulpit using the word nigger and calling you a nigger said, no, what I mean. I just saw this about a McDonald's employee. She said, I'm not racist, but I don't care that you black. You're acting like an ignorant person, so I'm going to call you nigger. And everybody, no, you can't do that. But it's the same thing. It's if somebody's doing.
I get that point. I do get it, and it's a lot of stuff. I like Carter. I like him. I like his style.
I like
a lot of stuff that he do that I wouldn't do, and I wouldn't say. But if you're gonna preach that word and preach it right, you won't have many friends. You won't be Mr. Popularity.
Well, that's
the world's
fine.
not gonna love you because they didn't love Jesus.
That's fine. That's fine. If what you preaching somebody don't like because you telling the truth, well, that's just on them. But I just think that.
But I have a problem with the world trying to dictate to the church what we can and cannot say.
I don't agree with
and
that
what's right
either.
and what's wrong.
I don't think that should be happening.
That's where I have a problem.
I don't think that should be happening.
Can I say one more thing?
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says, "Let the wheat and the tares grow together."
Yeah.
And at harvest time, He's going to do the separate.
Yeah, got it.
And that's my time.
Thank you so very much. I will say, to follow up that caller, that I do not think that the world, I'm talking about in context of church people lingo, I don't think that the world should be trying to tell the church what it should be doing. Just like I don't think a Buddhist should be telling a Christian you wrong for what you believe. I don't think a Muslim should be telling a Christian you wrong for what you believe. I don't think a Christian should be telling another Christian or somebody of another faith you wrong because of what you believe. So that's why I make that statement. That's why I don't think it's right for the world to be telling the church what to do. I think we need to respect what we all think and what we all feel, no matter what we agree on or don't, or what our beliefs are. Y'all, we in the world. This is my opinion now. We in the world. There's everybody here. So we got to find a way to coexist without this thing that to me don't resemble nothing like Jesus. That's my opinion. All right, let's go forward. Take some more calls. You got 1 minute. Caller in 4318. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Debbie from Norfolk. Mm-hmm. And the problem that I have is that, the 1 Corinthians chapter 13 speaks about love. Mm-hmm. And granted, you have a word that you want to give, and it's from the Bible. That's good. But it's these names that you're calling. It's how do you expect to win people? He said that he's supposed to have this harsh and controversial way of speaking, but how are you going to draw anyone? Jesus said, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. And Jesus said he is like the Father, and he said the Father is love. Mm-hmm. So we have to love. That doesn't mean that we allow the not abusive, but the unacceptable behavior to take over, but we have to show forth love and let them know Jesus died for you too, and he died for this particular thing that you're going through, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But you can't do that by beating them down with a stick, because I wouldn't join you if you've always beaten me and calling me out of my name.
I would happen to a darn agree. Abso-darn-lutely. Thank you so very much.
And one more thing I want to just say real quick. That song that Jennifer Lewis was singing about going out and voting, and I know that Georgia has an opportunity to vote on the 2nd.
The 4th.
So you can change that song, the 4th. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if you take that word out that she uses and put in hips, it'll work.
Oh, okay. You talking about for the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take your hips out and vote.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much.
Have a good night.
All right.
Thanks for taking my call. Bye-bye.
Call it in and 4239. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Larry. This is Jordan Carlson.
What up?
From Rochester. And I enjoyed the interview. I think that there is a way to preach the gospel without being derogatory and without being offensive, although the gospel will offend. But here's the thing, is that the gospel draws in those that belong to Christ. And when you preach, you don't know who it is that belong to him, but they respond because they know his voice. But here's the other thing, is that you can't mix his voice with your bias and with your hatred and with your foolishness and expect people to respond to his voice, because then it's not pure. It's mucked, it's dirty. And they'll have a hard time trying to decipher between God's voice or Jesus' voice and your hatred and your nastiness and your rudeness. And here's the other thing I like to say. I asked my pastor one time, I say, let's say we all moved up to Mars. We all went up to space. Everybody went up to space. What would a Christian spacesuit look like? Can somebody tell me? What would a godly spacesuit look like versus a worldly spacesuit? I wonder sometimes, is the dressing issue also related to fatherlessness? Paul said there are many teachers, but there are not many fathers. I wonder, is it a representation of the absence of men in the church showing young up-and-coming men ministers how to dress, how to look, how to conduct themselves? I wonder, is absenteeism of men in the church or fatherlessness in men in the church relative to, people not knowing what to wear? I honestly don't think God cares what you wear to church. But if the men haven't been there to show these young up-and-coming male ministers what to wear, then you don't have a right to criticize. Okay. You just don't. Where there is no instruction, people will create their own instruction. And you can't get upset about what instructions they create because you wasn't there when they created them.
I hear you. All right. I hear you clearly, Jordan from Rochester. Been a while since you called in, man.
I know. God bless you. I enjoy it.
All right. Bye. I'm taking your calls. If you keep it in 1 minute, I take quite a few of you. Caller in
90 seconds.
Well, caller in at 662. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Larry, what's up, man?
What up?
Calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
So, growing up as a church kid, my father was a pastor himself. Growing up as a church kid, you've heard all of these kind of messages. You've heard the gays, the faggots, the homo, the bull daggers. I mean, you've heard it all. We've heard it all.
60 seconds.
Too much. I don't fool up too much with the COGIC anymore. But one of the things that I realize is that people are human beings first. We are all created in the image of God. And when you start bashing and diminishing people, you are diminishing literally the image of God. And how can you expect to strike a person's heart when you're trying to tear down their spirit and who they are as a person? So when you have these people who come at these individuals in these groups, and you can have whatever kind of feelings that you have about them, whether or not you agree with it biblically, whether or not you think it's a sin or not, but there is, and I agree with you, there's a way to go about some of these things. And I think a lot of times people have left the church because
10 seconds.
Individuals in charge have not gone about these kind of things properly. And it's done much more harm and damage to the representation of God in the world than it has helped people.
And I think that is the reason why that I say what I say on my show, because like I told y'all, if you've been following my show for any amount of time, I say that I feel like I'm supposed to be a bridge between the sacred and the secular. And I am concerned about the church embracing some kind of change. I'm really concerned about the church embracing some kind of change when it comes to people, helping people problem solve in their life. And I think that we should be concerned about how the church is viewed. We should be concerned about people's humanity just as much as we are when it comes to what they believe in following the Bible. I'm not even saying to change what you believe about the Bible. I'm just saying change your darn approach. That's all I'm saying. And if you're going to try to help somebody else be better, you need to have your mess in line. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I could appreciate, and I'll let you go. I can appreciate what one of the things Todd Hall said about his transparency. And we've created a culture in the black church of secrets and lies and this kind of phony facade, and where the preacher gets up and he pretends like his whole life and the only thing he's ever done wrong was he might have had a couple of drinks when he was unsaved, and he don't want to talk about the women he's had, the affairs he's had, the children he's had, and the money he stole. He don't want to talk about all that stuff. We kind of created this culture, and so when you beat down other folks, they look at you and they say, "But what about your dirt?" And we live in 2018. You can go online and find anything you want about somebody.
Okay, thank you so much.
This ain't the days of old where people, could try to pretend and act like. I mean, we didn't know Martin Luther King smoked cigarettes until 40 years after he died. But these days, we can find out anything we want about these preachers.
Yeah, that's true. All right, thanks so much for calling in.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's take some more calls. Let's go. Caller ending in 3834. What's your name? Where you calling from? Got 1 minute.
Hi, this is Jay calling from Chicago, and I just feel like they use gay people as an excuse. It's just they seem to always want to put that out there, and they always want to preach that to get the reaction.
Oh, I see.
And I feel like the black church uses gay people to their advantage, and long as it's beneficial to them. And we're not talking about the minister of music or anything like that, because gay people are in all facets of the church, and some are very straight looking and some are very feminine looking, but they're in all parts of ministry doing things, whether they're in Church of God in Christ, Apostolic, Baptist, whatever. And I just feel like they use gay people to their advantage, and I just feel like the black church needs to have a come to Jesus moment. But gay people are just as culpable because they sit there and they take it. Long as you giving tithes and offering and doing stuff like that, the pastor don't have nothing to say. But I think church members need to understand that they hold the power. They hold the power, not the pastor. The church members hold the power. I mean, Lauryn Hill has a song that says, "It's funny how money changed the situation." And I feel that a lot of the reason that a lot of these young people don't have pastors that they can look up to is because these older pastors are teaching them how to do the dirt. They watch the pastors do their dirt, sleep with other women, and do all that stuff. And then to even talk about the Holy Convocation, people know what go on at the Holy Convocation. A lot of these pastors, they talk about gay people. They don't want gay people at the Holy Convocation and different stuff like that. But do you know that some of these pastors are paying for these gay boys to come? Paying for their room, paying for hotel rooms, paying for tickets, taking them out to dinner. I mean, people know that there's been porno stars there, male and female. They're at the Holy Convocation.
I heard, and this is alleged information, I heard that there is a madam that comes to every COGIC convocation, and she has boys and she has girls, and they work the entire conference.
Yeah, this is what they do. I mean, the sex parties, the orgies, and all this stuff, and the saints not using protection and stuff like that.
Oh, we know they don't. We know the preachers don't use condoms when they be sleeping with these women, because them 8 women with the whole Bishop Cousins case, they all said they ain't use no condom.
Right, and then charging that everybody got quote unquote church cancer. That's what they want to call HIV and AIDS. Now they want to call that church cancer. Oh, he got cancer, and we all know what he got.
Yeah, exactly.
And
all right.
That's just the thing. But they don't want to deal with that. I could have respected Bishop Wooten a lot better if he had turned around to the general board and told them what they was doing.
Ooh.
They use gay people as a scapegoat. They use William McRae. Do you know some of those bishops use him to funnel information to put folks on blast?
Well,
See, that's
I remember
the
when
that they
McCrae
created.
did do a article where he did out a particular preacher saying that he was one of his main informants. So I do remember reading that blog. I'm going to have to let you go. I got more callers, but thank you so much for calling in. You really contributed to the conversation.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to take a few more calls. Caller in 5502. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Larry. It's Marlene.
Hey, Marlene.
Listen, I want to say I thank you for the you are so understanding the perspective. I get it. Mm-hmm. I was so offended by Bishop Carter. He has the right to feel the way that he feels, but I think maybe him and I are in the same age. And I remember that those names and those derogatory names, those offensive names were being called when I lived in New York City. I was going institutional a lot, and different preachers would come, and they would do the same thing. When the season of HIV and AIDS came out, I always worked in the medical field, and that is what outed a lot of gay men in church. My point is this, that offensive talk and the way that they spoke about homosexuals even back then, when people tried to reach out to those that were suffering, that were dying, they had so much bitterness in their heart from sitting and hearing that kind of offensive name calling. Maybe some of them would have come out. Maybe some of them would have said, I'm dealing with this sexual. That's why I was so offended. And I have to say this, Bishop Carter, no offense to his office, I give him indifference to his office. He's messy, and so I'm just saying I was so offended by that whole conversation. But I appreciate you because he has the right to feel that. Do I agree that God gives us this ministry of offense? I don't know if I agree with that. In fact, I don't. Yeah. But I know the scripture says offenses will come, but it doesn't say that we intentionally offend. Yeah, so that's my whole thing. But I appreciate you.
I don't agree with that either, Marlene. I don't agree with him calling. Yeah. And I don't agree with whether it's the
maggots
LGBT.
And roaches. I mean, these are people. That's personal attack. You are personally attacking these people, and you don't know the circumstance surrounding. And I know the church should have. We need to be walking in a way that people will want to come to Christ, and we're supposed to give them Jesus. But can I stand up and say that Jesus would do that? And I hate when people use that scripture, he turned over tables. No, you use that scripture to be mean and hateful, and that's not what he was doing in the temple when he turned over tables. And so I appreciate you. Please bringing this stuff out, because I'm 60, will be 66, and that name calling has been going on since I was a little girl in the church in God in Christ. I grew up, and I'm not in there now. It's been going on now. And I haven't seen anyone delivered from that kind of personal attack. That's all that I'm saying. And I thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
But, yeah, I'm going to say this. That is what I was saying. But did y'all hear when he said, and we don't have to agree with it. I don't agree with it. But he said, Bishop Earl Carter, he said that the reason why, some of you guys may have missed the interview, but you had to go back and watch. He said that the reason why he do it, his intent is to make them so uncomfortable to where they change. And he said he do that when it comes to people that are repetitive sinners. So he's trying. So that let me see his intent. And that's why I'm like, okay, I get it. I don't agree, but I get it. I understand. I believe his intention is pure. I just think the approach is just all wrong. But he's saying that that's the way God gave it to him as a prophet. This is the way I say God give me to work my gift in the marketplace as a prophet. Some folk don't agree. Okay, cool. Take some more callers. Caller in 1106. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, it's Prophet Sterling from California. How are you?
Hey, what up?
I wish you would have opened my line while he was on the call. Okay. I kept sending you messages like, take a call, because I wanted to ask him questions. So I know I only have a minute, but you got to give me grace, because I think I need a little more time for this here, because the floodgate has just opened. Number one, I knew him from when I was a teenager. He used to come here to California to the church I attended. he was mentored by my bishop and pastor at the time.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember Bishop Ross. He was a bishop here, and we were in his jurisdiction, and my pastor would go there and just set the whole church on fire with all the bashing, and folks would hit the door because of, the same kind. So he was mentored by, and I'm not going to call the name of this person because he's now deceased, and I don't want to hurt his grandchildren. But the problem with this is you won't hear these same preachers preach against child molestation. This same basher was the same man who molested me from 13 years old to 18 years old. So they, it's like the slave gospel. Master tell Toby what to preach. Tell him don't lie. God say don't lie. Tell him don't fornicate. God say don't fornicate. Don't steal. And then Master goes in Toby's cabin and rapes his wife in front of Toby. So my challenge is look at the contradictions. Gagging at a gnat and swallowing the camel. You're looking at flamboyant guys, but you're not looking at those who are turning them out, who don't even have don't have an effeminate trait in their body. Sylvester, the singer, was turned out by a COGIC bishop. Don't get me started. And these bishops and what have, like your brother said, the church cancer, whatever, bishops dying of age. And as long as you have people like that behaving and misbehaving and abusing, you're going to have churches like Love Center and churches like, City of Refuge, Bishop Flunder. People are going to flock to there because they're tired of being abused, tired of being hurt. My former hairdresser shared with me, he was married with 4 children. He went to his pastor, 2 different pastors, for counsel because he was struggling with the sexuality and addiction. Both pastors molested him in counseling and then told him he was going to hell and then put him out the church. These are the kinds of things so when you see a William McRae and you see other boys who are very flamboyant, their audacity is an expression to say, don't you dare come for me because I will expose how I got like this. And that's my opinion as to that. But I need the people to understand that we have to expose these child molesters in the church, and nobody's preaching against. You don't even hear sermons about that because they start as children and they grow up into what they become, and then you want to cast them out because they're giving you a bad look, and that's a travesty. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in. Oh God. No, she didn't say Carter molested her, from my understanding. Darlene, hit me up, make sure that's clear. I think she said his mentor did. Yeah. I think that's what, I pray to God that's what she said. Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay, I'm going to take a few more calls. You got to go 1 minute. All right, let's go. Caller ending in 6324. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Larry. This is Anonymous from Virginia.
Okay.
Hey, I am calling because that was a lot to take in this evening. What the gentleman is saying tonight totally false. I totally don't believe that, there's this. Everybody's saying there's a gay agenda. I keep hearing that. I don't believe that. There's no agenda out here trying to push anybody to be gay, lesbian, however. If anything, we're curious. People are curious, and they go out there and they see it and they try it. Now, does that mean they're going to be gay or they're going to be straight? That, is it a choice? I don't believe it's a choice. I think it's more so what's in your feeling, what's in your being. But with the other thing is what he was saying tonight, it brought up a lot of memories for me because when I first came out to VA, I was confronted in a manner where someone had found my Facebook page, and remember, Facebook was kind of still in its early stages. It's not what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But they found my page, and mind you, there was nothing blatantly on my page saying, "Oh, I'm gay," but I had, liked and supported a few groups that were gay, lesbian orientated.
Mm-hmm.
The person never found out who this person was. They decided to print out my front page, they cut the bottoms off so you couldn't see, where it came from, where it got printed out from. And they gave it to the eldership. The eldership confronted me, and basically they asked me very blatant questions very, very personal, very hurtful questions. Asked me was I still a virgin, asked me, just, terrible things. And once again, as some of the comments said, this is why, a lot of people don't want to fool with church.
So somebody done that to you that was in the church?
Yes.
Oh shoot.
And and yes, I hadn't been there only a month or so, and and the sad part is, I'm going to be honest with you right now, I still go there. I'm still going there.
How many years has it been?
I've moved to the VA area in 06, 07. So yeah, it's been around 15.
So one of the members
15,
of the church, after being there a month, they printed it out to show the pastor or the leadership that you were gay.
They showed I would say the elders. Yeah, that, like I said, it didn't blatantly say I was that was gay.
Right.
However, there were things on there
Are you still struggling with your sexuality? Go right before you say gay, you take a pause. Are you still struggling with your sexuality?
I'm not, but it's, when I think about it in terms of the church, I know because everything that gentleman said, everything he displayed tonight, that venom, that hatred, I've seen it, and I'm not even COGIC, so it's in other places too, as someone else pointed out. It's pretty much in every dominant religion. The easiest place to pick or have a problem with is the gay community.
How do you love yourself through and through completely, and you struggling with a part? I don't believe sexuality is the greatest part of ourselves, but it is a part of who you are. So how do you totally embrace and love and honor yourself?
That is something I have talked to a counselor with, and that is something I do love myself. I just never have said it enough, and I never put it out there enough, and I have not treated myself.
Okay, let me ask you this. If you say you love yourself, do you feel bad about loving yourself and God?
I feel, that's kind of the first time anyone asked me that. I do feel God loves me, and I do love myself. I do have my moments where I kind of doubt. Like I said, that's something I dealt with.
When you feel that doubt, what part of your body do you feel that doubt in?
I've probably mentally.
It's in your head.
So
let's say this. Let me just offer this. Consider this. Maybe your religious mind is interrupting the relationship that you have with yourself and with God. Just consider that your religious mind is interrupting the love affair that you're supposed to be in with yourself and God in order to grow spiritually. Just consider that. And I'm gonna let you go, but I want you to think on that. All right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Much.
All right.
Next
caller. Y'all go so quick. Caller ending in 1754. What's your name and where you calling from? You got 1 minute.
This is Mother Francis Kelly calling from North Carolina.
That's a lie.
You know I'm not. You know I'm not Mother Kelly. I won't tell who I am, but I got a few things I want to say real quick.
Okay.
You mean to tell me that you're gonna be homeless and broke and bankrupt because he hangs around sisters?
No, he said that the death angel was gonna come upon me.
And he gonna sue you. But
Yeah.
he gonna sue you before you die.
Yeah.
Because Mother Kelly said, stop hanging around them sisters. And he mad with you.
Yeah, he mad with me now.
Now, I say this to you. I used to play for a Church of God in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And they were great people
Mm-hmm.
until they got around the conferences and they got with their assemblies, whatever, their little district meetings and stuff. They were great people until they got around them people.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it's I don't know. It's just, I love Earl Carter. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just after homosexuals. He is after everybody. He said, if you're wrong, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, he after everybody. And that's true.
Yeah. He's not just after the homosexuals. Now I'm gonna say this, and the reason why I don't want to tell who I am, because I don't want nobody trying to knock my door down to get me. If you mean to do right, you just mean to do right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
If you mean to live right and you mean to do right, my daddy told me that life was like eating fish. He said you eat the meat and you spit out the bones.
Okay.
That part is for you, take it and eat it. That part that you feel like it's not for you, spit it out. Stop running out here crying about what somebody called you or what somebody said.
Okay.
If it ain't meat, don't eat it.
I got you. Thank you so much for calling in.
Not eat meat. Huh?
I said thank you so much for calling. I'm gonna have to let you go, but
I
guess
I appreciate you for taking my call.
I guess what you need to do, you need to be praying for me because this guy done cursed me. Talking about it's a
come on.
So
That
you
man
need to
ain't got
pray
no
because
power. He hang around. Larry, he don't have no power. He hang around too many sisters. Good night.
Thank you so much for calling in. Oh, that is hilarious. You know I'm gonna tell you, call me churchy or whatever. But when I heard him, he was playing that. I said, Lord, Kendall, you saw him. I said, Lord God, why he say that? I said, Lord, he didn't mean to say that. I mean, because this is what I know about the spirit world. Let's suppose he said that with lots of conviction and he really felt that way. The way the spirit world works, or God works, or the universe works, when you put that thing out there, it comes right back. So whether it's a blessing or it's a cursing, you throw it out, it comes back. And as you throw it out, is the way that it comes back. So let's suppose he threw it out at me because he thinking that I ain't saved and I had an intention that was evil for posting the video and hate the woman of God. And I saw a death angel gonna come and get you. That goes out like that. And when that thing come back in through to him, anything that don't line up with what he got, what he said and what he got going on, then he gonna be sitting in that word like that. So you bring that thing on this cell. That's terrible. But hey, from listening to all these preachers and videos we played in part one, it is a COGIC thing, almost like to be mean. And I ain't trying to put. And let me say this: I can tell you some COGICs that's some of the nicest people I ever known. They are in Raleigh, no, in Durham, North Carolina. What's the name of that church? My friend now. And he need to be a bishop. I don't know what they doing messing around with him for. Herbert Davis and Saina. Nehemiah, COGIC Church. Them some good COGIC people. Good, nice COGIC people. You tag them and you tell them I said it. Them some nice COGIC people. And he need to be a bishop. The boy brilliant. Brilliant. All right, going to next. I got to get off this thing. What the world I'm doing? I can't take no more. This is my last call. Call in the 1556. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Larry.
Hi there.
I enjoy your show. This is Lily calling from Washington, D.C.
What is it?
I just want to say I'm not COGIC, but I do listen to Bishop Carter sometimes. I'm so glad that you had him on the show because I feel like you say about a lot of things, It's something that needs to be discussed, you know? It needs to be talked about. I want to say I have personal members in my family that are in the homosexual lifestyle.
Okay.
But this is my thing. They don't go near, the men, they don't go near a woman. They're gay. They choose to live that life. That's them. Do I believe according to the word of God it's sin? I do believe it's sin. But don't involve these women and mess their lives up, have all these kids, and you know you want a man. And vice versa. I'm just saying, these are some of the things that happen in the church that cause so many problems. I mean, sin is a problem as it is, but when you do that, you're compounding it. These bishops that sit up there and they know Andrew Caldwell that they want him and her and him and her, that's wrong. That's just too messed up. That's how you mess everybody's life up, you know? So we all need to get right with God, you know, or ain't nobody going back with him, you know?
Well, that's
Call
what
a spade, sin is sin.
Well, that's the reason why I said what I said, and I said this to Carter, and I'm gonna say this sitting here. Now, if I'm in the church preaching, I'm invited to your church preaching, I'm going to preach what the Bible says. I'm going to preach what I'm for. I ain't going to do none of that stuff they're doing, you know.
Right.
And you find yourself however. There's so much. I think the whole church, every bishop and preacher need to be preaching on prayer, because church people, it's supposed to be a house of prayer, and don't nobody know how to pray. So I think everybody need to be preaching on prayer for the next 10 years in a darn way, so to learn how to darn pray. But in a darn way. But aside from that, I said to him, okay, if you like a dude or you like to Larry, when I tell you it's just the honest truth, I do not care. I do not care.
Right.
It's whatever you like. That's good. You know, I don't have a problem with it. But the Bible says what it says. We can take it and make it say anything we want to say. But as it is written, it's clear homosexuality is a sin and it is an abomination. I know it's Old Testament and da-da-da. I know how it all came together. However, but I'm just saying that's what it is. But if we don't find a way, if we don't
love them and treat them right.
But you got to create an atmosphere for people to tell their truth. When you don't create an atmosphere for people to tell their truth, they're going to lie. They're going to lie first to themselves, and then they're going to lie to you. And then they're going to get you pregnant. But they don't want you. They don't even like women. And at some point in time, some people are able to wear that mask till they get to the graveyard. But some folk gonna take that mask off. Some folk gonna take that mask off mid-life. 20 years after they done been married to you and you got 10, 15 children. Now your whole life is screwed up. That is not always,
and that's what tears the church up.
But that ain't all that person's fault. Until the church reform and create an atmosphere where people can tell their truth, the church has to take some level of responsibility for creating this chaos that is in it. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Right. Absolutely. And last thing I want to say, please bring Andrew on and give him a chance, if you can, to tell his part. You done had William McCray, you done had Bishop Carter there. Give him a chance, if you can, to tell his truth. And I pray to God you don't get no cease and desist letters after this. Have a good night, Larry.
People have been asking me to have him on for 2 years.
Please.
Okay. I'll do it. If y'all really want me to interview Andrew Caldwell, start tagging his name up under this what's the name and tell him to contact me, 844 Dr. Reid 2, and I will interview him.
Well, you might have to contact him, Larry. I don't know, but anyway. I enjoy
all right. Well, I mean, yeah, or that.
I enjoy your show. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, cause I ask him questions. I want to know. I want to understand some stuff. All right. Next thing. No, I'm gonna take this one. He been holding for 40 minutes. I gotta take it. Caller ending in 7785. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes. This is Chris from Toledo.
What's up?
I just wanted. Hey, what's up, man? So, I believe that the most important thing is when we preach something like what Earl Carter preached, we got to do it in love, because I feel like people can receive it if they know that they love you. And that's the most important part. But,
Agreed.
Even though what he's saying is very graphic, it's true. And he's straight and to the point. So I can understand, his, just like you brought out, he has great intentions. He has good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
But I think where things went wrong was the bishop, they just kind of left him out there. Because after he preached it, everybody, they enjoyed it. They thought it was a good word. And from what I heard from him, he said that Bishop Blake gave him a call and told him he preached a good word. Mm-hmm. But then after, the LGBT kind of came down on him, they kind of, he offered an apology, and then they just left Earl Carter out there. And so now he done turned, and now he's malicious against them. That's the part that I hate.
Yeah.
But, I believe he had good intentions, but now, he's like spewing all this stuff out. And now, he's trying to slander his brothers. And that's not good either, so that's the part that I really, really hate. But
see, that's why
I
asked
understand.
him the question that I asked him and highlighted what he said his vice was anger and violence. Because I do think, and this is my opinion, I think that's playing a part into his approach and what he's doing. That's what I think. I'm going to have to let you go so I can take more people. I'm sorry. Thank you for holding on for 40 minutes, though.
I appreciate it, man.
All right. In order for me to get a whole lot of you in, you got to do a minute. After a minute, I'm just going to tell Kendall, I'm going to tell you bye, and I'm going to tell Kendall to hang up. All right? So I can get the rest of it before we get off. All right? Call it in 8685. What's your name? Where you calling from? 1 minute. Hello? Caller in 8685. What's your name? Where you calling from? Oh, shoot. All right. Caller in 2232. What's your name? Where you calling from? 1 minute.
Hey, this is Prophet Hack Larry. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's up?
Can you hear me, Larry?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, praise the Lord. Okay. Look, first of all, Larry, I got a word I want to give to you.
Okay.
The Lord is saying to me in this season, man of God, that he is elevating you. He's elevating your platform. And God said he's brought you through the great dilemma of healing. And he's continued healing you right now. And he said that there was a hold up and there was a hindrance in your platform. Looked like you wasn't moving. You couldn't get where you wanted to go, because in that season, God was doing a great healing. And you're going to start seeing the more the healing comes in the complete fruition, that your platform is going to grow so wide, because your platform is going to be a voice for healing. It's going to be a voice that's going to deal with things that people don't want to deal with, and it's going to bring tremendous blessings and great change to a lot of people's lives. I just want to speak that to you, Larry, so you would know that. Okay. And as far as dealing with the gays, Larry, you can never offend people and think you're going to win them. It's impossible. There are some great, first of all, Brother Larry, everybody is not graced to deal with the homosexual community. You have to find somebody that's graced to deal with the homosexual community. They have to have the right type of love, and they have to be willing to let you come into their vineyard and love you and teach you and help you to walk out your deliverance instead of beating you over the head. That's because true. A lot of those guys are in a broken place. They've been broken, and they live their lives out of confusion and hurt and anger and pain and frustration. They're confused about their identities that was taken from them. So a lot of those guys are trying to find their identities, and they need a man of God to help get them that identity and help them walk out there delivering. But you cannot be vengeful. I like Dr. Carter, but Dr. Carter is operating in the spirit of revenge, and he's trying to get back at people because they hurt him, and he's operating in the spirit of hurt himself.
Okay.
And he's operating in the spirit of revenge and hurting. He's going to realize what he's doing is not helping the body of Christ at all. He's hurting more than he's helping. So he needs to, I wonder how many of those guys are he praying for God to straighten them out. And also, Brother Larry, I'm going to get off. When you did Brother Victor Cousin, after that deal you did, the Lord spoke to me, and he told me that he was going to begin to expose leaders, but he was going to do it because they wouldn't deal with their stuff behind doors. that he was going to expose them in the open, but it was going to be a merciful thing. And he said as he exposed them in the open, a lot of those guys are going to get delivered and healed and set free because they're going to be exposed and they're going to be forced to deal with it, and they were going to become great leaders in the body of Christ, and they were going to bring integrity back to the house of God.
Okay, now you over your minute, but you were good and all that you said. I'm gonna hang up, but I'm gonna make some mention called two things you said I think I want to talk about right quick. Thank you. Okay. He made a comment. He said that he think that you got to have the proper kind of leader in order to help a homosexual walk through whatever. I would happen to agree with that. I agree with that, and I do think some of the leaders that we have been talking about, like Matthew Stevens and some rest of them, I think are really called to deal with people like that. That's what I think. Number two thing that he said, first of all, he gave me a good prophecy. I only accept good prophecies. You ever come in there kind of crazy prophet, I ain't gonna listen to nothing you got to say because I'm hearing God, and he ain't talking to me the way you try and talk to me. You just don't like me. And then he said something else that I thought was important, but let me go ahead. If you give me 1 minute, if you just do it in a minute, I'm able to get more calls, all right? I don't want to hang up on y'all. God knows you've been hoping for 45 minutes. Jesus Christ. Call it in at 0717. 0717. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Larry, how you doing? This is Harold from New Jersey.
What's up?
Listen, what I want to say is that we got to realize that every situation is different. There's a time and a place for everything. And we have to realize that as preachers, we have to use spiritual discernment, and we have to preach with love all the time. But even with a parent and a child, every child does not get treated the same.
True.
You love them, but some children you have to use tough love. Some children you don't have to whip. Some children you don't have to spank. Some children all you have to do is give them a look. We have to realize that every situation is different, and we have to use godly wisdom with every situation. I know the names hurt, but there's a place and a time that you're going to have to use those names. And one thing I will say this too, I'll say this and get off. When people use that word nigger to black people, that is not the same as using the word gay and homosexual.
Okay.
Nigger is something that has been come down, and we've been black. We're black because we are black. Being homosexual is a decision that you make.
Oh, no. Hold on. I don't think being gay and being black is the same, and I've heard people make that comparison. I don't agree with that at all. Now, but I do agree that saying the word nigger to a black person can be just as harmful as saying faggot or whatever to a gay person. If they have experienced that kind of abuse with those words, it's the same injury, in my opinion. But I wasn't saying that being black and the gay is the same. Now that's not.
Okay, then I misunderstood. I apologize. I misunderstood. Okay. But I heard a lot of people use that a lot of times. With gay rights and black rights, it's not the same thing.
Yeah,
it's different than the thing. But I do hold strong that every situation is different, and we have to attack every situation differently.
Agreed.
There's a time for toughness.
Yeah,
I agree with that. There's a time for love. There's a time to say this. There's a time to say that. We have to use godly wisdom with every situation. That's all I want to say.
Thank you so much for calling in. And with that being said, him saying it's the time and place and everybody's different, then that ought to let you know, or at least have the thought that maybe there's certain things I shouldn't preach over the pulpit because some stuff is for everybody on the same level. So let me preach something that can hit everybody, and help everybody. All right, I'm taking another call. This is the last call I'm going to take, you guys. Call it in and then 8972. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Larry. It's Marie calling from Texas.
Hey.
I have two questions.
Okay.
First, how did William McCray become an elder in the COGIC Church if the COGIC Church has such disdain for his lifestyle? Mm-hmm. That's my first question. And question number two, why is Bishop Weissbeater not suing the person who took the video or not coming against the person who took the video? Because all you did was repost it. You weren't the person holding the camera. So Correct. Who was holding the camera, and why didn't he send some clap back to them? That's all I want to know.
Absolutely. Because that would be the COGIC Church that actually took the video. That was them. That was their live stream, So you right about that.
That's what I thought. It was their live stream.
Yeah, it was their live stream.
So he needs to be suing the COGIC Church.
Exactly. Leave me the heck
and
alone.
then maybe he can get a jacket to put over that white beater.
You said what now?
Maybe he can get him a jacket, put over that white beater.
If he hit me up, I would cash app him to go buy to get to get something to hold up the chest meat, because that's just not proper. All right, thanks so much for calling in.
Get the chest meat.
All right, you guys, I'm going to let you guys go in the morning if I don't oversleep at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock in the morning. If you want to start your day out with prayer, you can start it out with me. That's right. I've been doing this for I don't know how many years. You can call in to 712-775-7085. That's 712-775-7085. Let's suppose you oversleep and you say, I want to still pray. You call 712-775-7089. So that last number is a little different if you want to go back and listen to prayer, because you ain't wake your hind part up at 6 a.m. All right? All right, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm going to go back and edit the videos on YouTube. So I'm going to cut it right at the end when everything start messing up. I'm going to cut it down. But on Facebook, it's going to have all that mess up there. All of that's us trying to fix and stuff, that's going to be up there. In fact, what I probably do is make the Facebook ones private. That's probably what I do. I don't want my brand out there like that all mixed up. That's terrible. I can't stand it. My nerves. I can't edit Facebook. Facebook, you can't edit while it's up there. YouTube, you can edit while it's at there and cut chunks out. But Facebook don't let you do that. And that's going to wear my nerves, and I can't have that out there like that. I just can't. Because, see, Facebook, I'm able to go in there and cut the end where everything started messing up. And even on this shot, when everything went wrong, I can cut that whole middle part out and fix it and keep everything the same. But Facebook won't let you do that. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. I see you guys later. Bye.